morning. Australians are uniting in the wake of the tragedy that unfolded in the Sydney cafe in the early hours of yesterday morning. 2 innocent hostages were shot dead as a standoff with an armed madman turned violent in its 17th hour.
After an almost 17-hour siege, an ending everyone had prayed would never come. Shortly after 2, teams of tactical response police stormed the Lindt Cafe from either end, guns blazing. The cafe lit up with bursts of bullets and flashbangs, stun grenades, leaving the gunman dazed and some 15 hostages terrified. These extraordinary pictures captured by a single 7 News camera, allowed back by police into our evacuated newsroom directly opposite Lindt Cafe and looking directly into the cafe's 4 windows. It was over in 34 seconds, and in the silence afterwards, the only sounds, cries of pain and pleas for help. The beginning of the end came at 2:03 a.m. After hours of calm, the gunman seemed agitated, suddenly moving the hostages around the cafe. But for those left at one end, an opportunity to run. Seven got out, but for those left behind, the harrowing sound of a single gunshot. The police sniper next to us saw what happened through his high-powered rifle sights.
Window 2, hostage down.
Window 2, hostage down. For police, a worst-case scenario. They had no option but to pile in and take out 50-year-old self-styled Muslim cleric Haron Monis, but not before he'd inflicted casualties of his own. Rushed to hospital, 75-year-old female shot in the shoulder, a 52-year-old female shot in the foot, a 43-year-old female in the leg, and a police officer with shotgun pellet injuries to his face. But 2 never made it. Mother of 3, Katrina Dawson, and the cafe's manager, Tory Johnson. He reportedly attempted to tackle the gunman himself.
We should reflect on their courage, the courage that they displayed during the many hours in that room. They had to make decisions, hard decisions, and our heart goes out to them.
Throughout the ordeal, my cameraman and I were stationed here inside the 7 newsroom, just up there on level 4, of course, in complete darkness at the time. We were positioned beside the police sniper and clearly heard that first shot ring out and the sniper radio in those words, "Window 2, hostage down." It's believed the gunman was responsible for both fatalities. We've had one military expert analyse these exclusive 7 News pictures, finding the gunman let off up to 5 shots from his pump-action shotgun, while the police semi-automatics fired around 90 rounds between them. A horrific end to a day where the hostages had shown such bravery. Forced to stand for hours at the cafe's windows, enduring exhaustion, fear and uncertainty. This young Lindt staffer, eyes closed, hands trembling, at one point collapsed. Each under enormous strain, unimaginable pressures, the emotions so raw, the tears so real, as the gunman forced each to take shifts holding that notorious black flag, and all the time an ever-menacing presence behind them. We never saw Haron Monis put down the shotgun or remove that backpack, potentially holding explosives. His mood shifted regularly, here shouting orders at the hostages. Although Haron Monis has been called a lone wolf, it's clear he was at least an Islamic State supporter, a point made clear in this YouTube video produced inside the cafe. One hostage, who identifies herself as Selena Win Pei, delivered his 3 demands.
One is to send an IS flag as soon as possible, and one hostage will be released. To please broadcast on all media that this is an attack on Australia by the Islamic State.
And he wanted an online chat with Prime Minister Abbott.
We don't understand why his demands haven't been met yet. They are not unreasonable. He's only asking for a flag and a phone call, and that's it.
But they were demands that would never have been met or considered.
Today, we must come together like never before. We are stronger together. We will get through this. We will get through this.
Insisting the city will never be changed, but knowing perhaps it already has. Chris Reason, 7 News.
The victims were one of the legal community's brightest minds and a young cafe manager. Mother of 3, 38-year-old Katrina Dawson and 34-year-old Tori Johnson were killed during the siege. They are being remembered for their heroics and bravery.
We won't show you Katrina Dawson's face as she holds aloft her captor's symbol of fear. She doesn't seem afraid, but probably was, with 2 daughters and a son waiting at home. These would be her final hours, and when news filtered through that a 38-year-old woman had been killed and who it was.
Katrina Dawson was the sister of a prominent barrister, Sandy Dawson, who has done some work for Channel 7, who...
A sister of one of our Channel 7 staff.
Sandy Dawson, who I know, and I have friends who know. She was a mother of 3 children.
A mother, friend to many, respected for her brilliant intellect and grieved by a legal community that responded with united silence. There were written statements from the Bar Association. Katrina was one of our best and brightest barristers who will be greatly missed by her colleagues and friend at the New South Wales Bar. She was a devoted mother of 3 children and a valued member of her floor and of our bar community. From her prestigious old school, Ascom, Katrina's daughter Chloe is an Ascom student and her younger daughter Sasha starts with us next year. Katrina achieved a perfect tertiary entrance rank of 100 in 1994, was Dux of Ascom School and a prefect. And from friends, she was certainly clever, but much more than this, she was unwaveringly loyal, warm and kind.
He's wasted 2 very precious lives and one of them was my friend.
Cheryl McLean's friend was Tori Johnson, Lint's manager, who is credited with saving the lives of up to 12 hostages. The first hostages escaped when the 34-year-old tried to grab Man Monus's gun. Monus beat Tori Johnson savagely. Then, just after 2 a.m, even more were able to run for their lives as Tori fought for his own, grappling for the gun again. The shot that killed him ignited the police raid.
He was a really sweet, loving, caring person on a personal level and on a professional level.
That Tori Johnson died a hero does not surprise those who knew and loved him.
I saw the footage this morning and it makes you feel proud to have known a person like that. Knowing his character, I also knew that if he was in there, he wasn't coming out till everyone else was. He just wasn't the kind of person to put his hands up and live.
Robert Ovadia, 7 News.